Welcome to the Boston Art Podcast,
Boston's premier art podcast.
where we talk art, culture, and philosophy.
My name is Theodore Earthworms.
And I am Brian Huntress.
Welcome to the show.
So yeah, here, just to break the fourth wall, we're with Adam O'Day in your studio, aka also the Layer Gallery.
The Lair, yeah.
The Layer, I think you mentioned the last time we talked that you've been in this studio since 2014,
That's correct.
but I noticed up here it says established 2012.
Oh,
Was
yeah.
the Layer...
2010 was.
Oh, okay.
I used to, when I had a spot in Southie very similar to this, also referred to that as the Lair because it was like up.
Was it the distillery?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I had a
right.
studio there briefly in 2020.
Oh, cool.
Wow,
Yeah,
10
I had-
years is separated.
It was like the front of the building, top floor, where the like peak of the roof is.
Oh, cool.
So it was like 25-foot ceilings.
That's fucking awesome. That's the kind of like studio architecture that people dream about.
Oh yeah, it was
Yeah.
very like storybook.
Studio.
With like the view of the city out the windows.
Oh, wow, that's nice.
You could see all the way from like Dorchester to East Boston.
That's
It was
crazy.
awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, that area is a lot different now. Last time we were there, it was like they had just finished renovating like a lot of East 2nd Street and that building like those,
Condos and
really
restaurants and
shiny, demure colored buildings.
Yeah, they're like Mondrian paintings.
Yeah, they do look
Yeah.
like that actually.
They're
Yeah.
like, what should we base all of these on?
So shit. Yeah. So I guess maybe we could start way back at the beginning. So you mentioned last time we talked, you grew up in Michigan or you went to school in Michigan?
I grew up mostly in Michigan. Born in Tennessee, lived in Pennsylvania for a bit. Then I lived in Michigan for like 8 years. And then I moved to Georgia.
Wow.
I went to high school in Georgia for 3 years. And then I went to college in Washington, D.C., and then in Boston.
Cool.
And
That's
you,
right,
and you
Robert.
mentioned you went to, what was it, museum school? Not the museum school, it was Leslie or Art
Yeah, it was
Institute?
the Art Institute of Boston, which got bought by Leslie and
Yeah.
is now in Porter Square.
Yeah.
What-
I went to Leslie for 2 semesters.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
One thing
Cool
I
place.
always like to know about like full-time artists too is like, did you have like, was there somebody when you were a kid, like, was like your grandpa or your parents or like, were you raised by artists?
Yeah, it's almost
All of
like
the above,
you're
or-
reading my mind a little bit. Yeah, my grandmother worked at the High Museum in Atlanta. And so
Oh, cool.
she took me there a few times and gave me my first sort of art history lessons and showed me, the value of all of that
Yeah.
at a very young age. And, she encouraged me and said, don't waste your talent, like
Yeah.
every step of the way.
Did somebody notice like your artistic talent before that? Like, were you drawing a lot, like really young?
Yeah, well, it was a very religious house, so there was no like cable TV.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, like sketchbooks and art supplies were like a good way for them to, calm me down,
Yeah.
like give me something to do.
That's cool. They're a good outlet. I was homeschooled growing up, and we
Oh,
had
cool.
kind of similar thing where that was like the one thing. Like if I was in trouble, grounded, whatever, the sketchbook stays.
Yeah.
Like it's an outlet. It's a good thing. That's cool.
Someone gave me one of those like learn how to draw comics the Marvel way books,
Oh no way.
and that was kind of my first learning how to do it, properly, and learning about anatomy and everything.
Yeah.
And then I got super into Calvin and Hobbes.
Oh cool.
And I would wait for that Sunday, that like Sunday full color
Yeah.
every week. It would just be like them cruising in like a wagon down a big hill. And it was like, he was doing it with watercolor and ink. I thought that was so
Oh
cool.
wow. I didn't know it was watercolor. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's different. So much comics and graphic novels now like are mostly digital in some way,
Yeah.
or they start off like as like very rough ink drawings and then just go completely
Digitized
digital.
after.
So what brought you? So I mean, out of all the amazing art schools in the country, why did you pick Boston?
Yeah, interesting that you should say that because I always remember coming to Boston, and I've been to RISD, Savannah College of Art, a few different ones in Chicago, New York, and then I came to the Art Institute of Boston, and I was kind of like just looking at the students' art,
Yeah.
when I went to all these places. And I noticed that the one in Boston was like the best, for my personal taste. Like very highly skilled. It looked like a bit more put together than some of the other schools. I would say like RISD and SCAD were probably the other ones that I could have gone with.
Yeah.
But Boston has like a notorious music scene, so I've always been in bands too. So it was like the combination of the Art Institute of Boston had like a really good reputation for, helping you find work, helping you with the career part of it,
Yeah.
not just learn how to paint,
That's good.
and like a lot of computer classes. And so, I wasn't sure I was going to be able to, be a professional artist. So I wanted to learn, the Photoshop, Illustrator, all that stuff,
Yeah.
and web design and anything that I could use to try to make a career out of it, which I ended up doing design for, it was like mostly sort of like pre-press design for a printing press.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And then I worked for the Navy for 5 years after that.
Cool.
Shit, wow. So you graduated college and then enlisted?
No, I was like a civilian,
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
like
interesting.
an employee sort of contractor.
Yeah.
Huh.
I know a few people who do that.
Yeah,
Cool.
it was all right. It was not for me, kind of.
Yeah.
I had to be there like 6 a.m. every day.
Oh.
But I did it for a long time and paid for my art studio, sort of, what's the word where you make it real?
Legitimized?
I
or-
legitimized
Oh.
it, yeah.
Yeah.
I legitimized myself with the open studios, meeting people from galleries, starting to show at galleries.
Yeah.
Back then there was a place called Lot F who was giving young artists a chance when some of the other Boston art galleries, it wasn't cool then to do that. So this was
to link with like younger artists?
yeah, that was
Yeah.
not really a thing. Now that's like the only thing. So it's
Interesting.
like you guys are of the age of like you could cruise up to these galleries and be like, I'm an up and coming artist, I've never had a solo show, and that they would like be super into that.
Oh, shit.
Huh.
That's good to
Yeah,
know.
it's like a good angle.
Yeah, it's funny because like it's funny you say that because so many
Doesn't feel that way, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Like, that's crazy, actually.
yeah, for us and many artists that we talk to, they have absolutely zero clue how to connect with or communicate with galleries. It's like a
Yeah.
very mysterious and complicated process.
Well, I've heard it described like very simply, which is find a gallery that has work that you like,
Yeah.
and then talk to those people on a regular basis, go to their shows, get to know them,
Yeah.
and like kind of try to see if you could be friends with these people, because you will spend a lot of time with the people that are representing you,
Yeah.
and you kind of have to be friends with them. You kind of, it has to be like an extreme like trust situation. I've heard so many horror stories of people like, oh, I got a show in Australia, never saw my paintings again. They sold all my paintings and never paid me for them,
What the
Whoa.
fuck?
type of thing. So like,
That's crazy.
you have to just, I mean, I can't speak for everyone, but for me, I have to trust that it's going to be real.
Yeah.
Right. It's not. That's interesting because you always hear about people, maybe they get big timed or they can't connect, but I haven't heard any stories about people just fully getting fucking scammed. I believe you 100%, but that's like crazy.
Was it Jeremy Mann, I think was one of them?
Wow.
I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with him.
Oh, man.
His name is Jeremy Mann?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mann, I believe.
Is he like a friend of yours or a...
No, he's like highly successful, like
Gotcha.
Yeah.
international artist.
Oh, shit. It happened to him. That's horrible.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he like shut down his social media afterwards, like in a fit of depression.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And it completely changed his whole like the way he operated. Like he was a big cityscape guy, and then he like changed genres,
Yeah.
went completely like silent for a while.
Wow.
He's back though.
That's good.
Good, yeah. Speaking of the cityscapes, you're very well known for those too.
I think I might have used to have been, and I haven't done too many like in the past few years.
Yeah.
So this show that I have up right now at the Ragosa Gallery in Eastham, December 6th is the closing, by the way. If anyone is on the Cape, it's I kind of got to invite some of my favorite artists to be a part of the show. Percy, Fortini Wright, Cedric Douglas, who goes by Vice One. He's actually in the studio building on the second floor. But and then a local guy to the Cape, Pete Hawking. He's legendary like landscape painter with like dunes and very highly collected. And I just really appreciate his loose brushwork. But yeah, that show is like the first little series of cityscapes I've done in a few years.
Oh, cool.
So it was cool to get back into it this year.
Yeah.
Did you feel like you kind of got like you did too many of them and you didn't want to do them anymore, or what made
Yeah.
you stop for a while?
Well, I kind of go back and forth now between the two worlds of like representational, which for me is kind of just like the yoga of art, you know,
Yeah.
where you're just like looking at a thing and then you paint it,
Yeah. Like translating it to the canvas.
put some funk on it,
Yeah.
you know, pour a beer on it, throw it out the window, see what happens. I know you're into that too, Brian.
Yeah. Yeah, the fun kind of like just doing crazy shit process art, like even if it doesn't like yield a totally like even if it doesn't yield an obvious result, it just changes, it just
fun.
makes it just gives it life. The process,
Yeah.
because the process can be so fucking daunting, or your hands hurt, or you're just getting completely like snow blind almost. Is that the expression? Where
Yeah.
you get like lost in a storm or something.
Yeah.
I feel like art can be like that a lot, where I don't even know what the fucking thing I'm painting looks like anymore because I've been staring at it too long.
It's true.
Art's exciting for like an hour, and then
Right.
and then I gotta do something else.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I imagine you work on multiple paintings at once too.
Yeah, I try to.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the oils, you kind of have to.
Right.
Like, I got this perfect green, and I need to spread it around these 10 paintings. But the cityscape thing did start with when I lived on Mission Hill. I had a pretty sick view of the city,
Oh, yeah.
and I would get like, you know, pretty traditional cityscape paintings going. But at the time, like, I really despised art, and I have some frustrations at the time with the art world and just myself in general, and I kind of see that in you, in
yeah?
some of your videos, like you're just like expressing yourself freely, and that's kind of what I was doing at the time. Was like I would like chop up paintings, move them around, dump beer on them, spit on them,
Yeah.
set them on fire, like whatever, just having fun with it. And I kind of like had this whole fuck it thing where I would just be like, you know, just destroy these paintings and then like remake other pieces with them. I was like super into collage. I don't know. So I think that's kind of like what drew me to your work too. Like, I think we share a couple of the same brain cells in that regard. Where like that point where you're like, this isn't precious, I'm gonna like beat it up a little bit,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, now you're having fun with it. You know, it's like you found your style because you know, had no respect for the
Yeah.
the artwork, and I think that people are like real precious with it sometimes.
Yeah. You got to think outside the box to find what's fun about it for you. You know, if you're going to do it for a long time, you have to be enjoying what you're doing, not just perfecting the one thing. I guess some people like that.
And I've always, I think about painting a lot. This is kind of like a weird metaphor, but I sometimes think about painting or even drawing or whatever is like, it's like this entity that is like almost, it's like revolting against you and
Yeah.
trying to be something else, and you don't want it to be that. And it's like, it almost like it has its own will and it's
Yeah.
trying to be something else. And it's our job to fucking make it, to like it, to fuck it up and like, I don't know,
Yeah,
make it what we want it to be.
You're battling yourself.
Yeah.
But you're also like, yeah, you're like trying to solve a puzzle within yourself sometimes.
Yeah.
And that was how I started that's how I got a style, was like, you know, mix up a bucket of paint, pour it all down. You know, somewhere along the way I like tightened up. I don't know how that happened or why that happened, but that's kind of how it brought me to like painting more surrealism type
Yeah.
stuff. So now it's like the ideas are the crazy thing. The concepts are the crazy part.
You know, it's something I've thought of too. I'm 28. I'm about to be 29 in a month. But I feel like there are times now when I'm painting where I actually, in the last few years, where I feel like I can actually slow down and be accurate and just like really actually like, and Theo is like this too, because you're very realistic and literal and representational. But like with my work, like I feel like I actually really couldn't be super accurate
Me
when I
neither.
was younger.
Yeah.
You know?
I was actually given a painting lesson today, and I was talking about that. Like, I could paint with such a steady hand now that when I was in my 20s, I was a complete spaz. Like, I could
Yeah.
not focus at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally identify with that. I wonder if that like could be like actually just like a brain development thing.
I think so.
Like your brain isn't snapped into place yet, so you're like not focusing correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go with that.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
It can be skill too, like having more mastery over the materials. Because I think something I struggled with a lot when I was a younger artist is just not knowing what anything did. Like having an idea of what I want to do and using the complete wrong materials to make it, which
Yeah.
looks like shit. So I don't think I have that problem now. So I can work on what I'm actually making versus like struggling with the wrong medium.
I need to see your artwork. I've never seen it.
Yeah, I have it on Instagram, but I actually went back to college. I dropped out before I finished my bachelor's, so the last like 6 months I've been studying.
You've been underground.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, head in a
honestly kind of
book.
sucked, but it needs to be
Where are
done.
you at?
I'm online at UMass Lowell, finishing my
Oh,
art
cool.
history degree.
I'm going there tomorrow.
Oh no way! That's
Yeah.
funny. I've actually never been there. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's
There's a
crazy.
really good art gallery there called Curation 250 that I show at.
Cool.
And,
Very cool.
The owner's husband, Frankie, has his solo show tomorrow.
No way.
I'll be going. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I pretty much go to an art show every single day of my freaking life. Went to one yesterday, going to one tonight,
Yeah.
and then another one tomorrow.
Seems like a good thing to do though. Stay in touch with the community.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what the fuck was I just gonna say? Yeah, it's weird because I feel like it's definitely a big occasion for me when I'm going to an art show because I'm not.
Yeah.
I used to be like that with music shows where before the pandemic I was in a space just like this where it was a studio and music space, but that got obliterated because of the pandemic and I was at shows every night. But during COVID and up until like this year, like 2024, I was like pretty much like full like reclusive hermit, just like in my studio in my workspace, only making stuff and basically never really like I started showing stuff in like 2022 and 23 again,
Yeah.
but up until that point and even now I like I didn't play any music shows. I was just only creating. And I think that was really good for me, but also bad because I completely like just abandoned the entire idea of like an ecosystem and network and community.
Yeah.
So that was like
That's
definitely
understandable, dude.
yeah.
It do be like that sometimes.
Yeah, like so with all the art shows you go to, you obviously want to in some degree, but is a lot of it, I mean, maybe you wouldn't want to say this, but is it like a lot of them just obligations? Like you're kind of
For sure. But it's like obligations that are fun, and you
Right.
get to
Yeah.
reunite with old friends, and that's where a lot of the stuff happens. Where like, you know, let's say we're all at Curation tomorrow. I know it's like I should turn off the Bluetooth. It keeps trying to connect.
oh, gotcha.
Yeah, so say we're all there tomorrow, and you know, someone at the gallery said, "Oh, I'm putting a group show about, fill in the blanks. You guys should all like submit."
Yeah.
And then boom, there you go. Now you have to go to a show every single day of your life, just
Yeah.
like me. But yeah, it really is all about just like, you could see when you walked in here, my friend Brand was in there painting, and we were just painting on that canvas together, like for no reason at all,
Yeah.
just because, we're both in that show tonight, and he's gonna roll with me down there, and he's like, check out this geisha painting.
Yeah.
You want to like get down on it. So it's it's as easy as that. Like now we'll show that piece in an upcoming show, I'm sure. But
That's fun. That's
I
cool.
did notice that in your podcast a few times you've said, I need to get out there more, do more shows. I don't know where to start. I've heard some stuff along those lines. So that's why I reached out to you about showing at the Lair.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
And I think it was one of our best shows we've had.
It was a ton of fun.
Definitely as far as art and music go. Just like I thought they were really both real top notch. And that's what we like to do here is like have an art show and a music show like on the same night. Like
That's cool.
and I think it's cool to have the if you can make like the art and the music like relevant to each other in some ways.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like our Halloween show, and it ended up like being a series that you have in here that looks very kind of spooky and mask-like. There's some mask-looking stuff, and just like devious characters.
Yeah, it's funny that I have people, that's one of the most common comments I've actually gotten about my art forever is masks, that they look like figures wearing masks.
For sure.
And I do that by accident sometimes, but I actually started doing it more intentionally because people told me that a lot. And I was like, yeah, these do look like fucking masks. I fuck with that. And the funny part about this is that a bunch of these are from this year, very recent, but a few of them are even like that one's from 2018, or that one's actually from 2014. That one's
yours?
Yeah, with the egg yolk eyes, the yellow eyes. That's it. That's from 2014.
That's actually crazy. I thought it was just hung up because it looks like one of your pieces.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
My kids loved your music and your art.
That's so cool.
They were excited to meet you, but then when they were too shy to say anything.
Yeah, kids are
It was
kids are
cute
definitely
seeing those
shy.
little headphones.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
That's sweet. It's funny how kids do that. Like they can be seeing their favorite person in the world, but because they haven't seen them for like 2 weeks, it's like super awkward.
Yep.
Until like maybe an hour goes by, and then they're like, "Yeah, let's go." Like,
They were also at school since like 6 a.m. that day. So they're like super fried by
Right.
that point.
Yeah.
But I was proud of them for making it out. They really like were very tired, and it was the 10-year-old who was like, "No, we have to go."
Oh, it's sweet kids.
Do they make art too?
Oh yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, our house is pretty laced out with art of all kinds.
That's fun.
Yeah, they used to come here all the time and make art, but I feel like maybe it's the gymnastics. They don't really come here as much anymore. They are both in gymnastics, and that's like they're very focused on that right now. So.
Yeah.
Right, probably takes up a lot of bandwidth for a kid too.
But the this winter we have plans. Me and Penny, who's 10, have been working on a book together.
Oh,
and
that's awesome.
We're trying to finish it.
Cool.
That's cool. Is it like a storybook or is it not like some kind of
Yeah, it's
kids
like
novel or something?
I don't have any of them in here, but like my more surrealist paintings of like, campers and sort of like tropical birds and crazier stuff like that. Each one of those is going to have its own, each illustration will have its own short story or poem to go with it.
Cool.
Some of them are like sea shanties, just like lyrics to, imagined songs.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like a lot of ocean themed stuff, like pirate stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I was looking at one, I think, from that series in there that's like it looks like it's a glass camper on top of like a portal into a room.
Yeah, that's
that was
one.
sick. That was
that's
very
one
cool.
of them. Thanks. Yeah, a lot of those ideas come from our little sketchbook sessions. Like I just had one this afternoon because Penny got out of school at noon today, so she was like, "I'm so excited, Daddy, just me and you. Like, let's doodle."
That's
Oh,
awesome.
that must feel so good.
Oh, definitely. And so we conceptualized, I would say, 10 different really great ideas that
Yeah.
will potentially become illustrations.
That's so cool.
And Penny is definitely like a mini me in some ways, where like she's just a fountain of ideas.
Yeah.
And sometimes like I feel pretty brain dead, so it's nice to have like another set of brains.
Yeah.
To
Tap into the 10-year-old.
pick up the reins for
Yeah,
sure.
it's like a little piece of my own brain walking around, but like a much smarter version of me.
That must be so fucked up.
Yeah.
In a good way.
You did it again. You outsmarted your old man.
Oh, wow.
You know what I love that you do with your art is every time I see an artist that's like has a steady hand and very representational and like very accurate, nice colors, I'm like, I wish this person would do something like really surreal and weird,
Yes.
like and I really appreciate that you do that because it's all that like the sink painting and like the cityscapes and shit are fucking awesome, but like to see you like do like a mystical thing or like the fucking these figures coming out of each other and stuff, like I
Where
love
I'm at. Yeah.
it's
I want to
awesome.
stay in that realm as much as possible. People do buy them, but it took a long time. I feel like it's almost like your generation is now like having some money. You guys are like super crazy and out there wild. Like you don't want your parents' artwork.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's kind of a theme that I've been seeing. Like 20-somethings want to do their own thing.
Yeah.
Like more than any other people I've met. Like I feel like if I had to like try to define your generation, it would be that like you are gonna do your own thing and like fuck you.
Yeah.
Like in a hard way. And I was thinking about that too with Tyler the Creator's new album. It's so good.
I've been hearing amazing things about it, but I haven't gotten around to listen to it yet.
He's just like,
It's one of his best, right?
I mean, he's a little bit older. He's probably like 30 something.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That looks sick.
That was awesome.
Glow in the hat.
Yeah, we have an active art studio here, so we're
Yeah,
working on stuff constantly.
I really love that about what your practice too, because I mean, in my experience, like my studios historically have had shows in them and stuff, but I definitely have been very like precious and like been like if I see someone near my paints or like my palette and shit, I'm very like weird. Like I'm like, stop fucking with
coming
my
over,
shit.
dude.
Right. But I really like how open you are about your creative space. You're just like, hey, like to the homies, just come fucking come
Well,
fuck it up.
I do like to collaborate, and I like to think that I've collaborated as much as possible with as many artists as possible. 2013, I did a show where I collaborated with like 30 something artists, just as a experiment. Like
Yeah.
I just wanted to collaborate with every single person that I knew at the time.
That's
Wow.
cool.
And the show was called Gumbo, and that was like probably the best like turnout I've ever had at a show, with like people waiting in line to come in.
Whoa.
And I've never like really tried to do it again, but I mean it was extremely hard to pull all that together,
Yeah.
and like each individual artist had their own sort of like handful of issues to deal with, and like each person collaborates differently.
Yeah.
But I learned a ton, and then I've kept trying to do this throughout the years, but like I've definitely found a crew of artists that like I collaborate well with, and I've just kind of stuck with them now
Yeah.
for the past few years. But Brandalism is one of them, Mercavelli, Pete Cosmos, hopefully you guys very soon.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know if you live nearby too. But
Yeah, we
live
actually live
together
together
in
at my parents' house.
cool.
Yeah.
So
Well, you guys are
Thanks,
more than
Sylvia.
welcome. You're more than welcome to come by the lair and throw down with us.
Hell yeah, that sounds
That'd be
fun.
awesome.
And also, it's a music studio too.
Yeah.
So sometimes we have band practice here. Sometimes we have live music.
Very cool.
speaking of the music aspect, do you feel like that collaborative spirit comes from music for you? Because like
For
I was
sure.
gonna say, that sounds like the way people make like rap albums.
Yeah, I like
know?
to think of painting as music and as poetic as possible,
Yeah.
where, you know, it might be a little different each time. It might be a little bit more, you know, poetic with the brushstrokes. You know, it's hard to plan everything out. So that's what I like about music and collaborative art is that you're going to make something completely different than each other would have made.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like this little bit of magic that you wouldn't have just by yourself.
Yeah.
And I think the main problem with the art industry and also music, actually, is the individualism thing has gone too far, I think. Like, you know, everyone is just the same as everyone else. And you don't really see an importance put on like bands writing full albums anymore. It's here's like the hot new single from Drake or whatever. Like
Yeah.
it's just like it's usually just based on one person, like The Weeknd, whatever, Miley Cyrus. It's just like a one person thing
Yeah.
now.
It's true.
And so you know, that has since the 70s I feel like that's kind of like dropped off.
Yeah.
Like slowly but surely they've like commercialized every last thing to sell products or whatever. So like make a song with a friend, make a painting with a friend. It's gonna be a little bit like less about you
Yeah.
and more about like trying to find like some magic.
Yeah. Like
I
that
think.
third voice in there.
Yeah. It's
That's
like
cool.
it's a little superpower.
Yeah.
Because like what I would bring to a painting, if I mean we could all three make a painting,
Yeah.
would be a completely different ingredient to what you guys would bring. It would be like this crazy thing. Like it's mind blowing every time, and I think that's why we keep doing it because it's like you're chasing that little spark.
Yeah. Were there some third things or like patterns that you noticed collaborating with that many people? Like, what did you learn from having to do that so many different ways?
I learned that I can piss people off pretty easily by painting over something that they did. That's the number one thing. If you ask Brand, he'd probably agree with that. Because he's a very like detail-oriented painter,
Yeah.
and like he's like real sharp with it,
Yeah.
and I'm real loose and messy with it. So
It's like us.
Yeah, I'm loose. Theo's definitely more detail oriented as well.
do you guys
Yeah.
paint together?
You know, we did like a few years ago. We made like tons of collaborative like collages and drawings and
It's a while
paintings.
ago now.
Yeah, the last ones we did was probably like
We did some in 504, the
yeah,
distillery.
like maybe 2021.
Is that really the last time?
Yeah, we basically have like maybe like close to 100 like
From like a little window
yeah,
of time.
we have like a fucking million of them from a few years ago.
Yeah. That was crazy though, because that was we were doing it was when we first met, we were doing it through the mail because it was COVID.
Oh,
and
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we started with both of us did 5 drawings and then mailed them to each other, and then we drew on those and mailed them back and cycled them
That's
through until we
cool.
had 10. But by the end of it, like there was one of them that we collaged over and painted over or whatever, and then I think you cut it up in a bunch of little confetti parts, and then I sewed it back together like chainmail. Like I would never
Yeah,
have made that
they-
on my own, but
They started out as a flat regular weight piece of paper,
Yeah.
and by the end of it, it was like as thick as like cardboard because we had covered over the images so many fucking times.
yeah, that was
That's
fun.
satisfying.
And I scanned every single iteration of them so
Yeah.
that we have like the progression of each page.
I mean,
So-
you need to make a reel about that.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't actually. I haven't really promoted that and then we made it into. The thing is, we want the idea was, oh, we got to make this like a book or like something like that. But I figured out that I'm really not as good at like book design and that type of shit as I thought I was.
It's hard.
So we did make one, but it's just really not that good. We only printed like 30 of them and sold them all to friends, and we still have a couple copies, but
Yeah.
we haven't reprinted them because we didn't really like how the book came out.
It
But
was so funny though. One of them, a friend of ours bought one of the books from us, and he works at the library at the MFA, and he acquisitioned it to the library at the MFA.
yeah, you fucking added it to the
Yeah.
Fenway Library Museum collection.
Which is crazy.
It's in there currently.
yeah.
Sick.
Nobody like knows that exists. You have to go there and like ask for it specifically.
Just like a very private accomplishment. that we
Yeah.
have.
I'm gonna waltz in there and be like, "I'll take a huntress, please."
Yeah, that was wild though. He messaged us and was like, "Hey, this is archived forever." And we were like, "Oh shit."
Not for sale.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, that's one we don't really talk about because I don't know. But yeah, it's collaboration is
It's
It's
I
fun.
think it's key. I mean, maybe you might not do like a whole series,
Yeah.
and even if you only do like a little handful with someone, and they're all stinkers except for one, that's good enough.
Yeah.
yeah. And you know what I was wondering too about you is like, were you like super pro social and open like your whole life, or was there a time where you felt like you became collaborative and open to that?
Yeah, I think it was when I lived at the distillery because you're out there, you know, cooking in the garden. There's a couple grills,
Yeah.
and you know you have 2, 3, 4 beers and couple jazz smokes, jazz cigarettes, and you're like, let's go upstairs and get crazy,
Yeah.
or like let's, you know, I got this idea. I think we could both get down on, and I don't know who started it.
Yeah.
There's plenty of other artists, but you know, like say that there was like a blizzard or something, and everyone's inside.
Yeah.
We used to all get together and, you know, drink whiskey and paint together.
That's fun.
Kenji, as you know, was there. I used to paint with Kenji all the time. He's still there, I believe.
Yeah, it's funny when we were there in 2020. It was like I just like randomly needed a studio and started like split a room with a random guy, but it was like peak COVID, so we like the building was like a complete ghost town.
Yeah, there was nobody there.
We
What
never
was the guy's name?
His name was Steve Olson. I don't know how long he had been there, but he was a nice guy. I
I
mean,
don't
we
recognize that name. But
yeah we knew him for a time,
moved
and
out a long time ago, 10
think-
years ago.
wow.
I think he was only there for a short time because he got the studio right before we started subletting it, right? And then
Must
he
have been.
left. How long were we there?
You know, I don't know. It was like
Yeah.
it was kind of like a blur of time. It was less than a year though that we were there.
Yeah, so he was
It was
probably only
it was
there
a
for a year.
brief period. Because the thing was, I could only afford it because it was already most of it was paid for by you know, I was renting like a part of the studio,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
and then he was like, "Hey, you can just have this whole fucking thing. It costs this much," and we were like,
Like, ooh.
"See ya." But
I mean, I definitely made some, you know, lifelong friends there, and it's cool to just see other artists and see what they do and how
Yeah.
they do it. It'll make you think of some stuff. It'll make you, you know, daydream a little bit. Like it's kind of amazing to see artists at work,
Yeah.
especially something you've never seen before.
yeah, I had a studio, and it was the E.T. Wright building. You probably are familiar with over in Rockland.
Yeah.
It's similar to this, and I was in like 2018, and I would
Gone,
just.
right?
Oh no, it's still there. There is a few of buildings. There was an art building two in Rockland that were one got turned into condos and the other burnt down or something
Oh wow.
after it was abandoned. Nobody like died or anything.
Oh yeah,
like
the
that.
condo one. I know that one.
Yeah, that one was like a pretty well known Codnam building.
Yeah.
That one, yeah. So that one's like people just live in it now. It's not, but
That's why I moved down here.
oh yeah,
This building.
Oh wow.
Because at the time it was like $200 a month for the
That's
studio.
crazy. Wow.
It's a little bit more now, but not much. And
Yeah.
across the hall is Felipe Ortiz, He's been here even longer than me, like maybe 13 years. I mean, I feel like his studio is like the cheapest one there is.
Wow.
Damn.
But yeah, I mean, I was like, I got to move to Abington so I can paint more,
Yeah.
you know, because I have kids and I really didn't want to poison my kids with turpentine, so I had to have a
course, yeah.
studio.
Yeah.
So
Good to avoid that.
your kids were probably born around the time you were in the distillery, right? Or close to that, or
Yeah, or we moved here and we moved to Abington in 2016,
oh, okay. Huh.
and Penny was, I want to say 2 at that point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where were you before that? Southie or
There was 2 years in Medford when we were house hunting.
gotcha?
It was really, even back then, really hard to find
Yeah.
a house. And it turns out this is the only area that we could afford. It was either this or like, you know, Peabody, North Shore, or like past Framingham to
Fucking
Worcester,
like Worcester, yeah.
Yeah.
which north and west seemed to me like the wrong move because at the time I was starting to go down to the Cape
Yeah.
for
Oh.
art stuff.
Yeah,
which
you're perfectly positioned for Boston and the Cape here, right?
You got to do it, yeah. I mean, we got to get, you know, you guys familiar with that stuff too, just because it's right at our fingertips. Like one
Yeah.
of the biggest art markets in North America is right here.
Yeah,
P-Town.
I've heard that. Yeah, I
Definitely not Boston, but P-Town.
Yeah.
Huh. What do you think it is about that? Like, why not Boston? I wonder.
Well, some of the most, I guess, my favorite galleries, 3 of them just closed down.
Really, in like Newbury Street or something, or
SOA.
oh shit, that
Yeah,
sucks.
there's like a few SOA galleries who called it quits just now, and
Wow.
they all have their different reasons, and
Sure.
I don't really know what all of them are, but I've heard that just, you know, it's with, let's say, $6 or $7 grand a month that you're paying.
right.
Yeah, that's tough.
That's a lot of trying to sell tons of paintings just to pay the rent.
Yeah.
Good Lord. So you can't have cheap paintings at that point.
Yeah.
But then you have a building full of artists selling cheap paintings
Yeah.
right above you.
Oh, yeah. That.
So they just walk past all these like $20,000 paintings or whatever,
Yeah.
and they just walk right upstairs and buy one for $500.
I've never thought of that actually.
So it's kind of like a stupid setup.
It's not a good business plan. Yeah.
And like I think that just starts getting to you when you're paying $7 grand a month.
Yeah.
The artists upstairs can open their studios and they're paying like $500 a month in the same building.
Wow. That's nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely seems like a bad choice for the galleries to be there. So
I
I
don't
can
think
understand
all
why
of
they
them.
might leave.
They're not all $7 grand. I think there's a couple that are like a little bit more affordable, but
Yeah.
like sometimes it floods in the basement. Like the cheaper galleries are all in the basement there.
And it flooded.
Oh,
so
right,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
It's flooded a couple times, yeah.
Huh.
But yeah, so there's a lot of elements why you would want to have a gallery in Boston.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people, if you're paying that, you may as well just go to Chelsea in New York.
Yeah. That's true.
And as far as galleries go, we get the commuter rail right next to us. As far as galleries go too, like admittedly for me, like something that I kind of had to come to terms with over the last few years is like, oh, like I've never really been involved with a gallery, so fuck it. But you know, something I came to terms with is like, well, have I ever even tried to really like have I meaningfully actually tried to connect with a gallery?
Right, yeah.
And the answer was no.
Right.
I really hadn't.
I feel ya.
So I don't know. And it's just like, I think over the years too, through this podcast, really interviewing people working in museums, curators, arts administration people, gallerists, like, you know, and just learning about what they do and their background and stuff. It's just like, they're just regular people
Yeah.
with jobs that love art.
Yeah.
That's
and
true.
this really, when you put it like that, it's like not really as mystical and complicated.
No, you
as it
just
felt.
have to convince them that they can make money off of you. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And like that you
Yeah.
that your artwork has enough value to pay that, you know, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month to stay open.
Yeah.
But there are some galleries that have funding. They're like funded by grants and
Yeah.
whatnot. That one tomorrow in Lowell Curation has some funding from the city of Lowell.
Oh, cool.
and the
Yeah.
owner also works with multiple organizations to put up murals and work with schools. So she's doing a lot of like outreach
Nice.
in exchange for some of the benefits she gets.
Yeah.
Something that I always like over the years, I thought like if like because you know you hear about music like bands these days, like it used to be decades ago that you get signed to a record label and they promote you and you sell albums, but now none of those record labels will fuck with you unless you get popular first.
Right.
They want you to get popular, then they want to work with you.
Yep.
So I kind of thought I was just like if I just focus on if like fuck whatever's going on in the real world, if I just focus on social media forever, then something good will happen
I'm
in
sure
the
it
future.
will.
I don't know if that's true yet, because honestly, nothing real. Like I mean, I'm still kind of in. I mean, I'm very grateful for where I'm at with social media, but I don't. I almost started bitching and being ungrateful, but like I still don't really know what I'm doing.
Isn't that what
Try not to
podcasts
be.
are for?
Right?
Yeah,
I
bitching.
don't want to.
Yeah.
That's what we do
Be
all the
that
time.
Airing our grievances.
Yeah,
Right.
for real.
But
And
yeah,
another thing,
yeah.
these stupid galleries, they won't even talk to me. I've never even tried to talk to them, but whatever.
That's pretty much it. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, definitely like most of the shows I've had over the years have been through friends that like for example, I have a close friend of ours who's an older gentleman. His name's Dwayne. He's been organizing music and art shows in Boston since like the 70s.
Yeah.
And he's given both of us so much awesome opportunities, like just in the Fort Point and Southie and stuff. And it's just like that has been like a very amazing for us, like learning and getting involved in the Boston art community that way, you know. But most of like you were talking about how there's a lot of galleries with grants and stuff, like where it isn't the sole focus isn't just to sell paintings, to sell the.
Yeah.
So they let more. I feel like those places tend to let more people in.
That's what you want, yeah.
So that was definitely how working with Dwayne was. I might be doing another show with him in 2025, but he's one of those dudes that plans everything like 18 months in advance.
You got to.
So
The show we just did in Medford was at the Medford Arts Collaborative space,
Oh, cool.
and it's like connected to a dispensary, I guess. In order for them to move in there, they had to do some sort of community outreach, and so they teach like little kids painting lessons, and
Yeah.
they have like bookmaking and poetry and figure painting.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Regina is the head of all that stuff over there, and she's awesome.
That's
like
very cool.
she just kind of like let us do whatever we wanted, and that was a full show of collaborative paintings, 50 pieces.
Wow.
So yeah, it ended up being like the biggest collaborative show that I've ever done with the crew here,
Yeah.
Brand and Merck, which we kind of clumped together through that like frustration of feeling like you're being sort of pushed out of the Boston gallery scene. But yeah, same with me. Is like I've tried a few times and I've been just rejected, you know, pretty much over and over again. There's been a few. Kevin Day, I've showed at SOA with Kevin Day. He's no longer doing that, but I think I might have convinced him to open up one more time and have another art show.
wow.
Just because the last time I showed it in Boston was 2018.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
So you're locked in on the Cape then. Like you're very
and Lowell.
Oh, and Lowell.
Yeah.
Right. What are the like when you have like a big turnout at like a show in a place like Eastham? Like what kind of like people are coming in? Is it like
Oh, it's kind of just everyone. There's surfers.
Oh, no way.
There's kind of like stoners, old hippies, young hippies. A lot of the people from the Boston area and my friends around here. They tend to go down there, and a lot of times nowadays I try to do like group shows. That way, it's not just like it's just up to you. A solo show is like so nerve-wracking because
Yeah.
it's like you have to make all the art, promote it, do everything. It's just like
and it's probably
insane.
your reputation on the line too if it
Yeah.
doesn't go well.
For sure.
Yeah.
And They let you know. I was in a gallery in P-Town for 10 years. They finally just closed. I mean, he's been there for 35 years.
Wow.
Wow.
It's a good run.
He wanted
lifer.
he wanted to move on, but I was there for his last 10 years, and you could just tell he's like, he could not figure out social media,
Yeah.
e-commerce sites and all that stuff. He didn't want to either.
Yeah.
He's like, why am I on a main street in P-Town? Why do I have to do a website?
Yeah.
His gallery was $7,000 a month,
I fucking bet.
but he would sell $200,000 of art every single summer,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
if
nuts.
not more. It's probably the only reason I was able to buy a house was that man,
Yeah.
Wow.
keeping me up on the walls for 10 years.
That's cool.
I mean,
What a
if
guy.
I really think back on it, like, he's really one of the only gallery people that is, like, real gallery people that's given me a chance, like, early on,
Yeah.
early 30s, which is when I started to really, like, try to make it happen.
Yeah.
I'm on, like, year 13, I think, now, of full-time artist life.
That's sick.
That's awesome, man. Yeah,
Congrats.
it's kind of funny because the last few years, because like I considered myself somebody who had been doing art for 10 years, but at this point, I almost feel like because of how much I've learned in the past few years, that I feel like now I'm actually on year one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just finished the
Now
tutorial.
I feel like, oh shit, wait, now I'm a legit artist. And all that the past 10 years, I was dicking around and doing nothing for a lot of it, or just fucking around with my friends or something.
Well, I think that, I mean, most people are artists as soon as they're like 5 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
But, you start taking it serious when you go to art school, or when you, honestly, or for me, it was when my wife and my boss at my Navy job were both like, you're wasting your talent. And I could see it's like killing you
Wow.
to keep doing it, to keep like knowing that, you're just gonna like I could have easily just worked a government job.
Yeah.
It's easy paycheck. You can always count on it. But I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So that's when I quit that job. That's kind of when I like saw things a little bit more clearly.
Yeah.
Knew that cityscapes were, could make it happen, and that worked for a while. But yeah, it's kind of like I only do one now if I truly like want it, like a new challenge, or usually it's like for a reason,
Yeah.
or like if I want to paint like a jungle scene in a surrealist painting, I'll like practice, like paint some trees and stuff ahead of time separately, and then I'll like apply those like things that I learned to like the surrealism painting.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a cool way to like bounce back and forth.
Yeah. Do some studies.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's a weird life being an artist. It's fucking hard.
It's true.
Fucking A. However, imagine how much harder it would be to sit at a government desk job.
Yeah, it'd be extremely hard. I've
Yeah.
never had a job that required a desk.
Yeah.
And I don't think I could.
I do, but it's in an art nonprofit, so I don't know if that counts.
Right. So you're definitely in your zone more than, yeah.
The other day I was having a hard time with a work thing, and I was just wicked frustrated. My boss told me to go look at the art. She like kicked me out of my office and made me go look at Smokies. I was like, okay, that's fine. I can't really
I feel
complain.
better now.
Guess I could look at some masterpiece paintings.
Sure, I'll take an hour.
Are they flowers or are they something else?
Oh, man.
Well, we should definitely get you guys in on some sessions over here.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'd love to. And oh, it's about time. Yeah, and I got
No, he wants to smoke.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
And I got a bunch of buddies too that are really like itching and looking for places to set up shows. Like not music specifically, like because like people that just need rooms, either touring bands or trying to set something up. So
Yeah, well, this
definitely gonna hit you up about that pretty soon. So
is a good space for like, someone who, like someone who's touring. It's usually like we can hopefully get like 30 people, but I counted closer to 50 that came through to your show, which
It's
is
a good crowd.
One of the better turnouts we've had. And we raised some money for the hurricane relief.
yeah, that was
I don't
awesome.
know if you heard anything about that yet, but
Oh yeah, I saw some posts from Yanni.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm really happy that we got to do that.
she raised thousands. I don't know how many thousands. She did a little run of shows.
Oh yeah,
She raised thousands for people, and she had like 10 different organizations that she's been donating to.
That's cool.
Yeah,
it's impressive.
I don't know if you knew that you were sort of part of helping to raise funds for that, but what we did, we raised
Yeah.
them. Yeah.
I got clued in before the show
That's
for
good.
sure. So I'm happy to. Yeah, no, this is the absolute perfect space too, because like you probably it wasn't really overlapping with your world probably, but for years there was always some DIY space, music space in Rockland and surrounding areas, all the way up until like recently.
Yeah.
Now there's fucking none.
Yeah.
So there's definitely a music crowd here that no longer has
Well, there's
any kind of place.
there's these little like ding dong bars that'll have like a dude, singing like Alice in Chains covers,
Right. Totally.
which I like.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
freaking love Alice in Chains, actually. And I saw one recently at a local bar, and the dude did that Nutshell song, and kind of blew my mind.
Really?
It was like a tearjerker. Just like 6 people sitting in the bar.
Hearing, listening to Nutshell.
Dude's like singing. Yeah.
I
mean,
beer.
It must be one of the saddest songs that I've
Yeah.
ever heard. Oh,
Yeah, it's beautiful. That MTV Unplugged version
Yeah.
as well. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Deathbed.
Yeah, no, that definitely is the vibe for South Shore music. We went
Yeah.
like bowling randomly in Abington actually. And like,
Timberlanes?
yeah,
Yeah.
and there was just some dude there singing like Creed on karaoke.
Oh, yeah.
Killing it.
But he was
though.
literally really fucking good at singing. And we were just like, we turned around at one point. We're like, wait, that's a fucking guy doing
Yeah.
karaoke.
He's drinking a
Like,
Corona
what
while
the
he's singing.
fuck, dude?
I love
Crushing
that.
it.
I feel like Creed is meant more for karaoke than it is for Creed.
Perfect venue.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. And the guy had the exact look you're imagining. Like he's soul patch, like just he
hell
just
yeah.
was a Creed fan.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, that was fun.
Tribal tattoos.
I'm sure he did.
Hell yeah.
Oh shit.
Do you think people are getting tribal tattoos now, like, ironically, but
That would be really funny. Ironic tribal tattoos.
Jenkos?
Y2K.
I've been seeing Jenkos around. I've been seeing, like, moms wearing them.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
ICP has been popping off lately.
I know. Yeah, it's like, I really wish they would do is like years ago they used to sign and create so many new artists through Psychopathic, their
Oh, yeah.
record label, and it seems like they really don't anymore. Like they just keep it like ICP and maybe some other people, but it's like they used to be like generating juggalo rap acts,
Well, they're
but
like
not anymore. They
they're
played
like
off.
50-something, I
Right.
think, at this point.
Yeah, I think they have like probably have teenage kids.
I want
Oh.
to go
weird.
to the Gathering.
It's probably fucking awesome.
It's probably the best music festival that you could go to.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
10 times better than Boston Calling.
Oh, 100%.
What do they? Do
Yeah.
they do it in Michigan or something? I wonder where the fuck
Ohio
it is.
now.
Oh, really? Holy shit!
The land of no one can stop you.
Right?
That's so funny.
Anything goes in Ohio, probably.
You know what I would like to say about your podcast is that you guys have like NPR level voices. Like when you
Oh, really?
when you, when you listen to your podcast, like you could easily be like in a fancy like NPR studio.
Oh,
Thank
thank you.
you.
That's
We're
awesome.
usually
Like,
in
you
my
guys both
car.
have good podcast voices.
That's
Thank
awesome.
you. I appreciate that. Hell yeah.
'Cause that's always the thing is like when you're recording, like I hate listening to the playbacks. Like I hate my voice.
Oh yeah, why? Yeah, never.
Yeah.
You just did the show. I'm sure you have to listen to it to like work it
edit?
out.
That's me.
Yeah, not me.
Theo
I'm like,
doesn't
this
do
is
any
you,
of that
I'm
shit.
done. I'm the talent. That's
But
it.
yeah, you don't go back and listen to it. Probably you just probably post it.
I
Yeah.
usually will post it. The only time occasionally someone will be like, "Oh, I fucking accidentally said my address," or like, and I have to go
yeah.
and listen to it and fucking cut out whatever they said that they need to remove or something.
Yeah.
Or you know what? I'm trying to really be disciplined and force myself to. I was doing it today. It's just to really cut clips,
Yeah.
and like I'm gonna do that with this one and just really just cut a bunch of clips and make videos for him and like, because that's how a podcast grows. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
So
You're gonna get ICP on the next episode.
Oh, I hope.
Sick.
that'd be awesome.
That would be very cool.
What odd dudes. But yeah, I mean, that's probably a good place to leave it. But we'd love to do a fucking part 2.
Yeah.
Even if it's not recording, just come. We'll definitely come hang out because we literally. I said it last time.
It was like 2 minutes.
we're very local,
Yeah,
so
2
It
minutes
might be
away.
cool to do one like,
even with some of your
Like-
collaborators here as well.
oh yeah, or like at a Lair show, almost like talk to people that come through, like
That'd be cool.
That'd be sick.
little like 2-minute conversations with people.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah,
I've been-
sweet Tiny Mike.
Yeah,
situation.
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Something I've
Name
been,
a woman.
Yeah. Something of or what do they say? English or Spanish?
Yeah.
And then the person freezes. Anyway, whatever. But I've been kind of, this is like not something I've started yet, but just kind of a concept I've been thinking about a lot, and this would be the perfect place to do it. I really want to do like kind of like just go in with a camera and just be like a fly on the wall in an art studio and just interview someone on camera, what they're doing, the food they're eating, the people coming through, like just a very like ambient lifestyle, like hour and a half long, like studio video.
Oh, like
Like it would-
little things are mic'd so you could hear like brush strokes and
Yeah,
that
that
would
would
be
even be
cool.
that'd be
Yeah.
awesome. But just like almost, what I'm thinking is like if you probably watched like Anthony Bourdain, like
Oh yeah.
I want to do that, but with art studios,
Yeah, I had
where it's
that
that
thought.
same like kind of just the sounds and feelings and I don't know.
Yeah.
I need to get all these doodads and like mics. and
Totally,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
Those were
But,
probably
like-
like $20 that mic you have.
They literally were. They're from Amazon.
Yeah.
I had this idea, which maybe it could be a Boston Art Podcast segment or something, some kind of collaborative thing.
Sure.
Where two artists, this would have to be a video though.
Mm-hmm.
Two artists would have a conversation, and you don't have to film the whole thing, but like maybe their easels are back to back, so you can't see what each other's painting.
Oh.
Maybe they're painting each other, maybe they're doing something else, but they don't discuss what they're going to paint. And you both are doing a painting, and you're sort of talking to each other. And then at the end,
Yeah.
you see what each other's has painted, and you each give each other the painting.
Yeah.
That would be such a fucking good.
You know what I mean? And then
It
you
would.
have like
Segment,
a keepsake from the thing.
yeah.
We should
Good
produce that.
conversation.
Yeah,
We could do that with like very little equipment.
call it like
Yeah.
That'd be easy to do.
artist to artist or something, or
Yeah.
maybe I mean I guess it would have to be two artists.
Yeah. I mean, we have a YouTube channel where our episodes go too. So like we could even throw it up there, or cut it into vertical. So
you
it was
only
like,
needed 3 iPhones for that in the clip mics.
yeah,
One for
yeah.
audio and 2 for video.
Yeah, I think it could be the tech would definitely be easy to achieve how to do that.
2 points of view, and then yeah, for like 5 minutes at the end, you just show each other the thing, and
Discuss.
you could probably
Great.
cut it into a 30-minute show.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
we could be you two guys, me and you could do it, you two could do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could be like we could even like if we really wanted to fucking grind and have like a full-time job for a minute, we could even make like fucking 20 of them with like tons of people.
Let's do 100.
Well,
fucking
Good idea. Let's make a shit ton.
it would be the type of thing that you could see on like PBS, or
Yeah.
that you could see probably just on YouTube for eternity, but
Yeah.
it could,
That is
you
a-
could see it on a platform, I think.
That is a legitimately good concept, though. The easel to easel thing.
I don't know if
That's
I
a
invented
conversation.
it or if I just am stealing it from something I saw.
Who knows? Fuck
but,
it.
Okay, let's steal it.
But I've always wanted to do it. I just like am not. I don't have all the mics and the
Sure.
Yeah.
the cameras and stuff.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, I think,
Could do it in this room probably.
Yeah.
totally, yeah.
That would be cool too if we were like, if it was kind of more of a surrealist kind of drawing. So it's like you're capturing kind of what you're talking about a little bit too. That would be interesting.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe, yeah, whatever you're talking about is somehow reflected in the pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah, you ever watch Jubilee on YouTube?
That's what I was just thinking about.
That sounds
The
like
cut.
a Jubilee thing where it's like they just do like weird group experiment videos and it's like filmed in a warehouse.
Yeah.
It's like kind of, it's not art related.
I
but they
remember
just do weird
Zubilee
shit.
Zoo.
I haven't heard of that.
I'll tell you what, that's like something from my childhood that haunts my nightmares. It's like the earliest iteration of furries,
Oh yeah, hell
but
yeah.
it was like a kids show.
Oh
But it
shit.
was like adults dressed as animals with like face paint. It's pretty horrifying.
That sounds
The
scary.
face paint animal people definitely sound scary. Face paint can be pretty freaky.
It is,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, I think that might be a good place to leave.
Yeah, fuck face paint. I'm out.
Holy shit. But yeah, so you mentioned Eastham, December 3rd?
December 6th.
December 6th, sorry. Okay.
I believe it's a Friday.
Yeah, so
Nice.
we'll have this out before that. So anybody listening that's fucking South Shore, Cape Cod,
Yeah, that's
Go to
the
Eastham.
It's the closing reception. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. The reception, the opening reception was a lot of fun, but the closing reception will have live music, reggae,
Wow.
reggae type stuff, and like funk.
Cool.
that'll be awesome.
Yeah, free concert as well.
Nice. Very
Fuck yeah.
cool.
Ragosa Gallery.
Wonderful. We'll put all that detail there, but yeah, thanks for coming on, man. Boston Art Podcast.
Cheers.
Peace.
Boston Art Podcast is an independent DIY production by Brian Huntress and Theodora Earthworms. The information contained in this episode represents the views and opinions of the original creators or our guests, and does not represent any institution, organization, or business. Find us on Instagram at Boston Art Podcast, and tune in for a new episode every Friday. Thank you for listening.